Josh Sokol here. We're about to start. We're on schedule to have game one between Will Anderson and Heidi Robertson. I'm going to be live streaming this with David Eldar. He's about to join us for game one. And this is the Canadian Scrabble Classic. Okay, so we see the players, we see the board, everything looks good, the cameras look like they're working, we got the timer, and David is coming. Okay. Will has 630 points. Yeah. They're gonna be updating the score throughout the game. We might get off to a slower start, but yeah. Anyways, all right. We're here in Kingston, and you're not in Kingston, David. Welcome.
Hey man, how's it going? No, I'm in Australia. Where is Kingston?
It's going well. So Kingston's between Toronto and Montreal. I don't know if that helps you. Where are you in Australia right now?
Not really. No, I'm in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Is it like a major city?
No, it's like one of the somewhat medium-sized cities in Ontario, but it's a nice location for a lot of people on the East Coast to come to, which is why we have a nice attendance of 70 people. So anyways, the game has started, and Will is going first. And it looks like the Heidi's rack is not quite visible at the moment, but we'll probably get that fixed eventually.
Is everyone is everyone in the chat aware of the layout of this tournament or what it is? Because I'm not 100%.
You should go ahead and say what you know, and if there's anything I need to interject with, because I know you're really excited about it.
Well, what I know so far is that I think it's in Canada. It's a big tournament. It goes for a number of days. We've got the world, the Collins division, and there's a American Lexicon division, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much all I got.
All right. Okay. So Benji Scrabble says a bunch of best of 90s. I don't know if you can follow Twitch chat as well. I don't know if you have it open.
It's going to be a pretty good time.
But yeah, so here's how it works. This is...
Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
He's got a massive play.
Oh, Will has a massive play?
Yeah, I won't spoil it. Yeah, he won't struggle to see that.
Oh, what? Ketoxime? Oh my goodness. All right, we're off to an insane start. I've never seen that one in my life. If you're in the Twitch chat, you can see the bot defining that particular word, ketoxime. A type of oxime, I guess. But yes, okay, anyway, Will's going to take a huge lead to start things off. We're going to get the scores updated when they come. But yeah, okay, so here's how the tournament's working. There's an 8-person bracket that we're following. And these 8 people are in the Premier division, I guess we would call it. Yeah. And this division has a completely different format from the rest of the players. The rest, I think, of the 60 other players in the tournament. And the rest of the players in the tournament are playing Scrabble as North America, and much of the world has known it for a while. 25 minutes per side. You finish all the games. Classic normal stuff. And it's like a Swiss pairings or like round robin pairings, where you get to play as many people as possible, pretty much.
Yeah.
Whereas this division is completely different. It's 22-minute clocks, as you see the clocks in the bottom center. 22 minutes. That's 3 minutes off per player, but that does make a difference.
Yes, it does.
And it's a best of 5 bracket to start. So all of the 8 players have an opponent. So there are 4 games going on at once. We're bringing you one of them at a time. So all those players have opponents, and they're doing a best of 5. So they're going to be playing up to 5 games. But whoever gets to 3 games first wins the bracket. Now, because it's an odd number of games, we don't need to include the metric that we normally use in Scrabble tournaments, which is point differential or spread. Because there's an odd number of games, it doesn't matter if you have scored a total of more points than another person, because that it doesn't matter. It's going to end with 3 games to 2 games. The only way it will matter is if there is a tie, and ties are extremely rare in Scrabble, especially tournament Scrabble. We
Yes,
might
they
see a
are.
tie. That would be really exciting. But the series would have to end at a tie, 2.5 to 2.5. And what's going to happen after that, David? Did I mention this to you?
Yeah, I think you said there would be a 5-minute game. Is that correct?
Yes, a 5 minute
Okay, wow.
game.
All right,
As we
that's
see
awesome.
Eta Aereo go down, which is a really nice find by Heidi, who is our she is our what did they call it? Wild card entrant of the
Okay,
tournament.
okay.
Um, Heidi is much lower rated than everybody else in the event by a margin of at
Uh-huh.
least 400 rating points.
Yeah, right.
So Will right now he's rated at 2163, and Heidi is in the
Yep.
1300s. So she is a huge underdog in the event, but Heidi has been shown to be a very fierce player, and she can take a game off of anybody.
All right.
But
So
yes, we just got the score updated, by the way. Sorry.
will we be watching this entire best of five, or will it be swapped out after this game?
Honestly, we're open. Honestly,
Right, all right.
we could have other people come in, we could have the same people stay. I think we're going to run a poll or something in Twitch to figure that out.
Okay.
But yeah, basically what's going to happen is it starts with best of 5. So after the best of 5, this is what we call the quarterfinals. It's already the quarterfinals, even though the tournament's just started. So this is the quarterfinals. After this best of 5, there is going to be a best of 7. Everyone will always be playing, but if you get eliminated from this bracket, you do not have a chance to come in first place. Basically, the
Okay, but
only person
you continue to play.
The only person that can come in first place is the person that won all 3 brackets. So we're getting to the second bracket, which is a best of 7.
Yeah,
So that's
okay.
a bit longer. So whoever ends up with 4 wins will emerge victorious from that, and that's the semifinal bracket where there are 4 players that have won out of 8, and then in the final bracket, it's the final 2 players that are facing off, and the winner will be declared after another best of 7. Okay, there we go. We got it.
Pretty cool. I think it
And
makes a lot of
hopefully, yeah.
sense.
Yeah, and I think you're a huge fan of this format because of resignations. You want to tell us about resignations,
Yeah,
David?
well, I mean, personally, I'm not a huge believer in the spread mechanic because it encourages people to play out dead games, which means the tournament takes longer, and people don't like playing dead games to begin with, or maybe some people do, but yeah, if you know, and whether you enjoy playing it or not, one thing I think everyone can agree on is it is really boring to watch someone who's 200 behind just potter around and open triple triples and whatever.
Right. So what he's saying, what David's saying basically is that if you're losing by a lot in Scrabble, there's almost always, like, until you get to a certain point in the game, there is almost always a slight chance that you can come back in that
That's right.
game.
Yeah.
But sometimes the chance is so slight that many players prefer to just end the game, and you cannot do that in a normal tournament format
Yeah, that's right.
because they
Yeah.
use the point differential, which requires games to end. Because if you end a
Yeah.
game prematurely, you don't have the right differential between players. So
Yeah.
that is
Well said. Well
actually
said.
a fiery debate amongst, I guess, mostly expert players, whether or not to use spread differential. And I think there's a growing cohort of people that would prefer not to use it because of certain reasons like playing out dead games, and other reasons of making plays that don't even give you a chance to win the game, but rather invite the game to end at a smaller margin than you would otherwise have if you were going for the win and making very
It's
extreme decisions, basically.
it's certainly controversial. The other thing about it is that spread, and this one's a little more, I guess you could say, like a secret thing or not so secret, but spread gives the better players a huge advantage At the end of any given tournament, 90% of the time, the best players always have the biggest spread. So it really makes it much more of a game of skill, which, you might think is good and you might think is bad. But personally, I believe it's a much more fun game when everyone has a chance to win. And, spread always ensures that the top players have that extra edge to get ahead.
Right. So, for example, if we were playing a normal format, what might happen is Heidi could finish the tournament with just as many wins as Will. However, what would then happen is whoever has scored more than their opponents would take away the opportunity for Heidi to win anything, even though she won the same amount of games.
That's right, yeah.
And you will often see in Scrabble tournaments because of the fact that there is a little bit of variance or luck in the game. You'll often see people take wins off of better players, and what happens is if you have a situation where spread is a factor, those lower rated players have so much less of a chance to do anything, basically.
That's right, yeah.
Anyways, we saw a few plays go down as we were explaining this format, but as always in chat, if you have questions, I'll be trying to follow the Twitch chat. Is it you or is the quality terrible? I think the quality is pretty good. I'm not really sure. From my end, things look good. I can see the tiles. I can see everything. But if other people in chat can have the same issue, please let us know. We're looking for all of your feedback. We just got started.
Respond to just quickly to Benji Scrabble there that most tiebreaks will favor the better player. That is definitely true, but some tiebreaks will favor them more than others. So that's just what that's all about.
Right. Okay, so the dictionary, Francis, 1408, we're using CSW 21. I think there is, we have the ability maybe to, oh no, we don't. But the CSW 21 dictionary is being used in these tournaments as in this tournament as it is sanctioned by. Oh, there you go. See, you see it. It is sanctioned by NASPA, and NASPA uses the CSW 21 word list, the most up to date version.
Nice graphic.
And yeah, nice graphic. Look at that. All these fun things happening. Yeah, right. Yes. So sorry, yeah, we should talk about the game. So what happened here? I mean, Will is ahead by not by too much anymore. He started off with an incredible we would call this a low probability word because of the letters it uses. The X and the K only appear once in the Scrabble set. So to have both of those at the same time is already extremely unlikely. And he was able to use all of his letters to make Ketoxime. And yeah, Heidi's been fighting. She played through 2 double word scores at Aereo to get rid of a lot of vowels. Will responded with FAUX. And I think we saw what we call a little staircase. We don't have a graphic for that. But if you can imagine what a staircase looks like, it's when people make plays one next to the other a few times in a row. So we saw Paua, Bon, Caddy, and then Ios. And so now the staircase is pretty much complete. There's probably going to be a point in the game where somebody drops one letter at the very top right of the board to make QIS or QIN. But yeah, we see Fairy come down for Heidi, and we'll get those scores updated.
Have these two players ever played each other?
Yes. However, they've never played in a tournament, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
So this is the first time they're playing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But they've played online a bunch. I'm pretty sure.
All right.
Well, I'm certain they've played, and they're good friends actually, Will and Heidi.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's looking already. I guess at the score line, it's looking already like it's going to be pretty tough for Heidi to get back in here. But I guess she'll be wanting to make like somehow a big bingo play, hopefully before Will does, to make this game like even-ish, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right now we see she has 2 H's, but she has some decent other letters that go well together. We see the
Yeah,
GHT
this
combination.
track looks bad, but it's really not. It's really quite all right because IGH, that sort of thing, actually tends, once you have a T there, it works together quite well. There's a few options on board for her here, thanks to that synergy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we see in chat, big fan of Will, who well, I will not dox because this is Twitch, but big fan of Will is a big fan of Will Anderson and knows a lot about Will Anderson, and I'm sure a lot of you as well are big fans of Will, but unfortunately that name is already taken on Twitch. But big fan of Will in chat saying yes, they play code names every single Monday. I actually am a part of this exclusive group as well, of mostly members from the Ottawa Scrabble Club. So Ottawa, the capital of Canada, has a pretty vast Scrabble club, and every Monday they meet to play Codenames, which is another word game. It's a really fun game actually if you've never tried it. But yes, Heidi and Will meet every Monday. Will is a and myself, because I don't live in Ottawa, we're exclusive guests to the Ottawa Scrabble Club Codenames Monday night, and that is where a lot of the fiery competition also appears between the two of these players. Anyways,
Just looking at this spot, there's a few interesting options on board. So first
mm-hmm.
there's height, or HIGHT, which is some
Mm-hmm.
archaic word. So basically all of the players that are on board are gonna go in the bottom left corner, hooking to
Mm-hmm.
the E to make a two-letter word. So yeah,
Right.
there's height if she happens to know that. But one other thing she can do is play high, HIGH, and EH, and then the next turn, she can access the triple playing Phi or A
Oh.
high, if she happens to know that, and set herself up for a massive score. Which, if you're the lower rated player and and already she's behind in the score, it's probably a good idea to try super aggressive moves like that to try and get in this game.
Right. So what we're saying here is the E in eta area, that word in the center of the board. That's where Heidi's going to be looking to play underneath that E, making a host of different options that she has there. But basically, she'll be hooking the E probably with one of her H's to make A, which is very aptly quite a Canadian word for our Canadian Scrabble Classic coverage. And yeah, there are a bunch of options there, and one of those is really cool. Yeah, the play of high, which stops one short of that far left column, which is a triple word column. And okay, she makes a similar play, but I don't think there is a way to access that triple now, right?
Yeah, that's probably much less favorable because typically speaking, the G is a really terrible letter, and the I is also not great. So that's a bit of maybe she just overlooked high there.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, potentially she might have overlooked that. But yeah, she does score 25 points with that play, but does seem like her rack has now deteriorated a little bit,
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
definitely. She's actually, well, not deteriorated because she's drawn a bingo out of the bag, but
Oh,
it's probably not going to play anywhere.
there's a
Yeah, and
word
I
there?
think there is. Someone in the chat has spotted it. I think though it's going to be pretty interesting to see what Will does here. So this board, the way it's structured, doesn't really have a lot of opportunities to make high
Mm-hmm.
scores. So the only real place Will can make a high score is by using Kitok sign. So there's a triple letter there, and you can play your S there, going both ways for like 30, 40 points, which is,
Right.
not to be sneezed at. So it'll be interesting to see if he goes there. Because typically, when you're ahead in a game and when you're playing a weaker opponent, you want to keep things safe and tight, so to speak. So I'm wondering if Will is gonna, take the risk and open it up there.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what Will does. Let's take a moment, by the way, if you guys notice the word Twiglu being available. David is going to spot these plays much faster than me, because David, who I'm joined with today, I know a lot of you know this in chat, but for those of you that are unaware, David is widely recognized as the second best Scrabble player in the entire world. So we're not like, I know someone says Achu in the chat, but we're not sneezing over here at our commentators. So yeah, the
Too
analysis is going to
kind.
be
Thanks,
really really
thanks.
awesome.
I'll
Um,
try not to spoil any plays or ruin anything for anyone watching or play along or anything. But yeah, that's it was worth mentioning.
Yeah. Myself, I mean, I consider myself a good player, but I definitely don't have the accolades, the recognition, or the skill that my counterpart David has. So I'm gonna try and follow along, but we're gonna have a
Too
good
kind.
time
Too
for
kind.
sure. So guides is the play, and that doesn't look necessarily like it scores so much because the only bonus squares that it hits, all the colored squares on the Scrabble board, if you're unfamiliar, are called bonus squares, um, are triple letters, and you're only tripling the U and the E, which are 1 point tiles. But if you calculate everything, it comes up to, like David said, around 40 points, just because you're getting all of those points from Ketoxime, um, by making the word Ketoximes, and FE as well. So yeah, that's a huge score. And in terms of precision, by the way, we will eventually have it so that I can figure out exactly, or both of us potentially can figure out exactly how much players are scoring. But yeah, we're working on that. I actually have a partner in crime who's also in the chat on Twitch, by the name of 64-bit Scrabble, who is following the game along in an analysis program, and he's sending the scores along as well so that those can be updated. But eventually, we will have the ability to not only analyze games after they have been played, but also be a little bit more precise and quick with those updates for you
Cool.
guys.
I think Heidi would have been happy to see guides go down. It actually gave her a very easy decision
Mm.
to score an easy 40 or so points. So that
Mhm.
probably worked out quite nicely for her. And this game is still alive. Like, she's still in it for sure.
Yeah, yeah. If the scores are up to date, that's 50 points. The way to score, to come back into a game where you're down around 50 points, tends to be a bingo. I'm not sure if we have defined that one yet, but if we have a little animation for that, people can figure out what a bingo is, and there it is. I love these little animations. But yes, you get a 50-point bonus, as well as the score of your play for a bingo, and that is the way back into games when you're behind by such margins. And
I think,
I think we see one on. Is that a obliger? Is that even good?
yeah, obliger is good, and globier is also a word. But yeah, that's the thing is, yeah, Will is obviously aware of that, and yeah, he's going to be doing everything he can to not let Heidi play a long word and score lots of points.
Yeah. So yeah, MOY looks like a very
And
logical play
actually,
there.
this is kind of a good situation for Heidi. I mean, all things considered, because if she can make it across, so there's two scoring spots left on the board, and that's the triple at the bottom left and the triple at the top right. And if she can access the triple at the bottom left, then there's actually, not really that much going on anymore. And that's good for her because it slows down the game and gives her a chance to get back in if she gets lucky and draws a blank, which is the most important letter in the game. She will absolutely need to draw the blank to win the game. If she doesn't draw it, she's pretty much completely dead. So
Hmm.
that's going to be her hope here, basically.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this has been mentioned already. There is somewhat of a way back into this game that is unlikely to disappear so quickly, and that is making a word ending in the E of Celt.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going to be very very hard for Will to make a play that gets rid of that as a thread. as a threat, excuse me, because of how difficult it is to score in that area of the board without opening anything else. So that is a nice crutch as well, I would say, for Heidi.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
on Will's end, I would say that he can also just sit back and relax, like I'm doing in this commentary booth, because he now has an N, and there's no way that Heidi's going to play in that top right, as we mentioned earlier, with Chin or Cheese. And Will, if he wants to, as long as there's nothing really important to address somewhere else on the board, he can just drop that N for 36 points. As we see
Ouch.
Heidi putting down Oblige, which unfortunately, actually, she's blocking herself there. But she is also trying to open other parts of the board at the same time. But I
Yeah,
do
I
think
think
that it might have been a good idea to leave that available for later.
Yeah, I think that's an easy trap to fall for, is that not feeling as if like the board is open, so therefore I need to urgently open because I'm behind. And what ends up happening is you fall further and further behind when you really could have just waited until a bit later. Whereas, Oblige is a fine play, but it doesn't really score that much, which is the problem there.
Yeah. And now I think Will can be even more just chill about dropping his N, which he's doing right now. Because now he knows that there's not a huge potential score coming
Yeah,
directly down from that center triple
yeah.
one score. He is keeping two R's. We do like to mention, for beginners and for everybody, if you can help it, try not to keep two of the same tile, unless that tile, of course, is the blank tile or an S tile. Those are the two best tiles in the game, and you don't really mind having two of those, or even an E. You could have two of those, but every other tile. Okay, sorry, I know I'm changing the rule of thumb while I'm saying it, but yeah, we try not to keep duplicate letters, is what we call them. But given Will's significant lead here, he does not really have to worry about that at this point.
I'll throw out a quick quiz for the chat if anyone's interested. There's three long words that end in guides, so they're 10 letters or 11 letters, three words, and if you can get them, well done to you.
Yeah, there's there's many, there might be a few. I think I can think of one.
Yeah, okay. They end in
But
guides, so I'll put this in the chat if anyone wants to take a stab. I think that'll be it.
oh,
Wait,
wave
yeah, is
guide.
wave
Yeah,
guide
that
the
is
word?
one of those. And
Yeah.
as you guys just saw, there's another little fun widget on the stream. You saw Chin being defined as well on the live stream. But as always, if you're watching from home, you can queue up the define command in chat. And you can, the way to do that is to put exclamation mark DEFINE, define, and put any word that you see that is a valid word, and it'll tell you what the definition of that word is. So that's a nice little thing that we're able to do here, for Twitch, for Twitch Scrabble.
Yeah, so a waveguide is a metal conductor for waves. Yeah, that's not what I would have thought it was.
Oh, there's one that's 5 letters long. Ooh.
Yeah. I think someone in the chat is aware of it. Evzone auto guide. Yep, that's the other one. And it seems like between all of you, you got all of them. So well done, guys.
Yeah, Evzone 1. Do you know who that is, David?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Evzone
super
1.
smart. Sorry to interrupt. Just
Yeah.
super smart from Heidi to
Oh,
play an
that is a
E. On top of
beautiful
that,
play.
she realized she needed to make an extra line for herself to play a 7-letter word ending in S and also making SJOE. So
Yes.
some good fight there. Yeah.
So SJOE, yes. And you're not hearing us wrong. That is a valid word. So SJOE is now basically a protected line for Heidi. It's very
Yeah.
hard to get rid of that line without having an S yourself. So that is a very keen play from Heidi, reopening something very nice for herself on the second row. because there are exactly 7 spots available there. So
Yes.
if she does
Very
end up
convenient.
drawing into a 7-letter word ending in S, she will be able to maybe come back in this game, which is not, I don't think, happening this turn.
Anyway, sorry to interrupt you there. You were saying?
I don't remember.
It's,
No problem.
yeah.
Oh yeah, Ev Zone 1. So Ev Zone 1 is actually also potentially going to be joining for commentary at a later period
Yeah,
in
right.
this live stream. But Evan Borofsky is his name. He is a top 3 player in Canada in the CSW Lexicon, and unfortunately, he couldn't make it to this event. But it'll be great having him talking through games. But yes, CSW. That is the Lexicon. Again, we see that
Very
really cute little widget.
interesting. Will drew the blank. That's irritating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we see that. If you see that maple leaf, uh, that is our blank tile. Basically, in a regular set of Scrabble, you have 2 blank tiles, and normally they come completely blank because that's what they are, blank tiles. But the pro tiles, the tiles that we use in tournaments that are not brailleable, tend to have designs on them sometimes, or at the very least they have a value, and that value is 0. So the blank tile, yes, it scores 0 points, but it is the best tile in the game. You can use it to make a host of words with any letter of the alphabet, and that is, it is the most precious tile in the game. And ours is a maple leaf, of course, because this is the Canadian Scrabble Classic, the inaugural event that we're running over here in Kingston, Ontario. And yeah, we gotta have our maple leaves, I guess.
Oh, that's gonna make it ugly. There's very little way back into this. I'm just, yeah. What do you think is the best way back now? I would think Heidi would be looking to try and make a long word to the triple, the remaining triple on the board, to try and breathe some life into this.
Yeah, maybe. Or okay, we see pair,
Oh,
which is sensible to try and open something new and a new threat on the board. But it's going to be really easy with most racks to just make a play through that R and shut everything down. Well, not quite everything, but a
yeah,
lot of
that's
what you're worried about. But I think
Will
we're
actually.
about to see. What's that?
Does he have much to work with here, or am I?
I think he could just play like Zerk
Oh
for
yeah, of course.
66,
All
just
right.
making
Well,
making
that's
the blanket K,
right.
and that'll probably be a good game. If he
Oh wow!
plays,
Hang on.
oh wait a sec, okay, hold on.
Hold on.
Yeah, but I think that's what
There's
Will do probably. So he'll
a
bring himself up
sliver
to
of hope.
399. But sorry, go ahead, David.
No,
What
no,
is
no.
happening on Heidi's
Yeah,
rack?
I wasn't saying anything interesting. It just, yeah, that was really unexpected. For those not in the know, W is a terrible tile to make 7-letter words with, and I is also quite bad. So yeah, there's an absolutely outrageous draw. And if she drew the blank after this may have been very, very close.
Right. But okay, we see it could be okay. It could be Zerk. It could be 0. We actually have no way of knowing what this blank tile is designated as, unless we have our producer on scene checking, which we just see a little head there. All right, wow, on cue, about to tell us what that tile is. It's a K. Okay, he did play Zerk. That's what I like to see. That's the play I recommended, so I'm proud of myself. But that blank could have also been an O for 0. And actually, one thing absolutely nobody in this chat knows is except Josh Gruno 99, who actually went and just checked the blank. Thank you, Josh, who's producing on site, making sure everything looks good for you guys. What is going on in this tournament? There's a really fun prize that they've set up. I'm not actually sure if this prize is for the main event or if it was just for the early bird event. But one of the prizes is highest scoring number word, I think. It's just completely random. But if you play a number such as 0,
All
you
right.
can win a prize at this tournament. I don't know, A, if that is happening during the main event, or B, if either player is aware. Oh no.
Oh, no, what?
Oh no. Okay. So we're seeing Heidi playing EWE here instead of
Whoops.
her 7-letter word of weenies, and there could be two reasons for that. The number one reason could be she did not spot where it played, which would make her play of Joe unfortunately a big
Oh,
oversight,
no.
or she was unsure of the word. And if you're unsure of a
Or,
word
or
against a
maybe,
player like
I mean,
Will,
I think this is not super likely, but there's an outside chance she was trying to end the game in a bingo.
that
Which
also could be, yes, yes. So
theoretically makes
instead of taking the big score now, she could have been trying to make as many points on the current board as possible because she knows that it's impossible for Will to block the
sense.
S
You
Joe
know what?
spot
It's
without an
actually
S.
it's not that crazy. She scores
Yeah,
40
it
points
isn't.
for this, as opposed to 80, and she needs
Actually, yeah.
something big to
This
get
might
back
be
in the game.
genius. This might be
If,
genius.
if
As we
well,
see, sorry, go ahead, go
no,
ahead.
because we're seeing here what she actually needed to happen was to play weenies and for Will to have a rack like this, which
Ah,
would
yes.
actually be a realistic way for her to get back in here. And now it's just it's. I mean, yeah, he'll have to change, but it's well, can he change?
Can he change? Good question. Let me do a quick count while you while you entertain
The
chat.
Don't
Um,
worry about it. The problem is that 6 in the bag, someone confirmed. So no, he can't change. But the problem with that is now she doesn't have the bingo on her rack anymore. So that's
right.
pivotal in this situation.
Yeah, I agree that there's a pretty much an 100% chance that Heidi knows the word Joe, and I think it's one of the other two things that she maybe didn't spot that she was setting it up because it is so weird. A lot of the players that play in CSW in North America has started by playing in NWL, which is widely used in North America only. It's the North American list, and I think we have a graphic for that as well. But in that dictionary NWL, SJO is not a valid word. So if you're switching from NWL, which you see on the screen right now, to CSW, which Heidi has done in recent years, it could take another like few years to really get these new hooks. And a hook, I think we also have a graphic for that. But to have these weird words that are not in the NWL dictionary, excuse me. Yeah, we see hook there. Just solidified in your brain, right? Like there's a chance that she doesn't know it. I'm almost certain she knows it, but just the idea that the word Joe takes an S as a hook on both sides is something that takes so long to really nail into your head, especially if you're
Yeah,
continuing to play in both lexica at the same time, which a lot of North American players, and I know specifically Heidi does. So it could be just forgetting about it as well.
yeah, that's a hard thing to juggle. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Will's just gone for the pretty much the only word he can make, which plays 2 letters.
Hmm.
There's really very little he can do here. So
Hmm.
yeah, Gary seems totally fine. And now I wonder if there is some sort of way back in here.
Yeah, because the score is within 100, right?
So what
Okay.
is that score correct? That she is about
Okay.
100. Oh, okay. She's just given
Yeah,
up it.
but yeah, this is the end. So yeah, we see S Joe. She knows the word. She saw it. At least this time she saw it, and yeah, she's decided to just play off 6 letters, which will empty the bag and bring us into an end game. And yeah, that'll be it for this game.
Well, easy to criticize someone for giving up, but honestly, like the chances for winning this game were like 5% anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, interesting would have been if she played Sarai, Serai, along the bottom for like 50 or whatever.
Yeah,
maybe take from there. But
yeah, wow,
you drew an absolute fluke out of the bag, or potentially could one, or even just Veld and Vaya, if anyone spotted that. But there's lots of, at the end of the day, it's not easy to win when you're 100 behind. The game was probably in a lot of trouble a long time ago.
Whoa. By 17? Oh, yeah, by 75. Okay. That makes a lot more sense. All right, so Will finds his best play. 64-bit Scrabble, as I said, is following the game in our analysis software, and Will has spotted his best endgame play. You saw the definition of endgame brought up on screen there as well, which is super helpful. Thanks to our producer for that. And now it's on to Heidi to try and find her best play. And why I say best play, the end game, when there are no remaining tiles in the tile bag to draw, the end game is solvable. Unlike pretty much the entirety of a Scrabble game, we have solved Scrabble endgames. That makes the endgame a lot more like chess, where you can find the optimal best sequence to go and play, and that is because of tile tracking. And tile tracking is a very useful tool, not only in the end game but throughout the game. And I don't know if we can see. We can see what tracking is there as well. Awesome. So you can read about that. So yeah, the end game is solvable. So when we say best play, it's because we can figure it out, basically.
A couple of things is one, this would be a great point to resign. This game is well and truly over. The other thing is you can see from Navies that she was in fact aware of the S-Joe thing, so maybe EWE was intentional, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, exactly.
Which would be some good foresight, and that shows some pretty solid thinking, in my opinion.
Yeah, potentially, yeah. It could also just be that she forgot about it for one turn.
She may have just happened to remember the next turn as well.
Yeah, because I did see but seriously, David, I did see her look at the camera at some point between her play of EWE and Navies and like laugh. It could have been that she's like, "Oh no, I missed it." It could have been.
I definitely know that laugh. It's like, "Oh no, not again."
But yeah, so this game 1 is going to go to Will in our inaugural coverage of the Canadian Scrabble Classic 2022.